What's up, everybody? Larissa Shanti here, and today we are kicking off the Gratitude Journey series, day 1, with the theme, Open to Receiving. So, for today's practice, if you have a block, please bring it to the mat. If not, don't worry about it. Maybe if you have a thick book, you could use that instead, but it's not essential to the practice. So don't worry about it if you don't have one. Also, if you're wondering what the Gratitude Journey series is, you can check out the description below, and that's going to tell you everything you need to know if you want to join us on the journey. So, either way, let's get down to the mat. Today we're going to get started down on our backs. So, however you want to make your way down onto your back. And then start to take your knees wide, bring the soles of your feet together, coming into a reclined butterfly pose. Now, for the arms, let's keep the palms facing up. You can keep them down by your side, or maybe take them into a T, or even reach them up overhead for a little bit more of a heart-opening, receiving kind of pose. So once you've settled into your pose, maybe just close the eyes for a moment. Feel your body start to settle into the mat. Maybe feel that back heavy. Feel the legs get heavy. Gravity's kind of doing all the work for you here, gently opening up the inner thighs. And then maybe just take a few settling breaths, finding a nice deep inhale, and then a slow exhale. Noticing how the belly and chest rise and fall with the breath. And then maybe take a moment here to think about anything that you want to bring more of into your life, anything you want to receive from the world. Maybe you have a hard time receiving it, so maybe think about opening up to the possibility of receiving it. And take your final breaths. Then you can start to slide the hands down by your side. Maybe use the hands to bring the knees back together. Then let's bring the knees into the chest. Give a little squeeze. Keep the right knee at the chest, but set the left foot down. And then we're going to take our right ankle over the left knee, opening the knee out to the side. So we're coming into this nice figure 4 shape, keeping a little bit of brightness in our right toes. And then again, take those arms open to a T or cactus arms if you want. Then keeping this figure 4 shape, let the legs fall over to the left side. You can send the gaze in the opposite directions of the knees, but now we're getting a nice little yummy stretch in the outside of the right hip. Let's just take a few breaths there, gently opening up. Feeling the shoulders settle into the mat. And then bring the head back to center. Inhale, take the legs back up. Right foot comes down, bring that left knee to the chest, a little squeeze. Then bring that ankle over the right knee. Taking those arms out to your T shape or cactus. And then allowing the legs to fall over to the right. You can look in the opposite direction of the legs if it feels good on the neck. And then just breathing into the outer left hip, or maybe you're feeling it somewhere else in the body, wherever you are feeling it, just breathing into that space, creating a little bit more softness, a little bit more length. Bring that head back to center. Legs come back up. Left foot comes down to the mat. Take both knees in again. Squeeze. Then bring the hands underneath the knees. We're going to round the upper back slightly. So start to bring the chin to the chest. Take your shoulders off the mat. And then rock back and forth, giving yourself a little spinal massage until you feel like you've gained enough momentum to plant the feet down. Then let's try to cross our ankles, and you're just gonna roll through. So you cross the ankles, bring the hands forward, and then shift the legs back, coming into a tabletop position. So your hands are underneath your shoulders, your fingers are spread nice and wide. You might give your mat a little claw with the fingers. And then your knees are underneath your hips at about hip width distance. When you're ready, on your inhale, just drop the belly, open up the heart, lift the head, draw the shoulder blades together. Then as you exhale, tailbone tucks, round up through the spine, through the shoulders, head drops last into your cat. Move back and forth a few more times from your cow to your cat and just tune into your breath. If you want to go a little faster, slower, whatever feels good to you today, to see if you can feel each vertebrae move one at a time. And then meet me back in a nice tabletop position. On your inhale, take your right hand up to the sky. Then as you exhale, that hand's gonna come underneath the body, set the shoulder down onto the mat. The left hand can stay in front of the face until your neck is settled, your spine is settled. And then you can either reach the left fingers up over the head, bringing the bicep over the ear, or maybe take that hand behind the back, finding the right thigh. Whatever feels like it's serving you better today, taking that option. And start to take that left hand back down in front of the face. Press into that left hand. Right arm reaches back up to the sky, and then set it back down. Inhale, left arm high. Exhale, bring it underneath the body. Set that shoulder down. Right hand stays in front of the face until you feel settled with your neck and spine. Then you can reach that right arm up over the head, or maybe wrap it behind the back, grabbing for that left thigh. Whatever version you took, maybe pressing into that grounded arm and then peeling open the top shoulder to the sky to intensify the twist. Start to bring that right hand down in front of the face. Inhale as you push down into that right hand. Left hand comes up to the sky. And then exhale, float it back down to the mat. Back to that tabletop position. On your inhale, start to tuck your toes. On the exhale, lift those hips up and back for our first downward dog of the practice. Feel free to pedal out the feet a little bit, bending one knee, then the other, getting into those hamstrings. Maybe give a little yes, no with the head, getting more into the neck and shoulders. Just warming up your downward dog. And then finding a little bit of stillness. Pressing evenly through the palms, reaching up through the arms, lifting through the armpits, sending those hips up and back. Tailbone turns towards the sky. Then take another inhale as you bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward. And then as you exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Feet are about hip width distance. Let the knees really bend on this first one. Maybe your belly can even rest on your thighs. Let the head hang really heavy. Your arms are welcome to just be like wet noodles, or if you want to grab opposite elbows, feel free to do that too. Again, little shake, yes, no with the head, kind of getting into the neck and shoulder area. And then shift the weight back to the heels and then forward to the toes. And just shifting the weight back and forth. Maybe noticing how the stretch shifts a little bit as you shift the weight. And then see if you can find the evenness in the feet where you're pressing evenly into all four corners. Then release your elbows. Keep those knees bent as you inhale. Roll up the spine, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Your chin stays close to your chest. Until that last moment, then the head stacks on top. Take the hands up over the head. And then exhale as the hands come down through heart center. And then mountain pose. Find a little softness in the knees, tailbone lengthens, shoulder heads roll up, back, and down as the palms face forward. Chin is parallel with the earth. On your next inhale, take your hands up over the head. If it feels good, you can kind of press the hips forward, lift the heart up and back into a little gentle back bend. Then as you exhale, take the hands wide, forward fold all the way down. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on the shins, lengthen through the crown of the head, long spine. And exhale, coming back down, and we're gonna come right back up. So bend your knees, inhale, lift your heart to a halfway lift, take the hands wide, and then press and rise up the rest of the way. Hands come up over the head. Exhale through heart center. Mountain pose, pausing briefly. Then inhale, hands high, send the hips forward for a gentle back bend. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale to a halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, lift the heart, press and rise, hands all the way up overhead. Exhale through heart center. Mountain pose, one more time. Inhale, hands rise. Send the hips forward, lift the heart up and back. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Let's shift the legs back, coming back to a plank. So shoulders are right underneath those hands, right over those hands. Heels are reaching to the back end of your mat. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Your lower ribs and belly are hugging in, turning on that core. Take a nice big inhale. And then as you exhale, the knees lower, the hips stay shifting forward. Then bend your elbows, scraping them against the ribs to lower the heart all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Press through the tops of the feet. On your inhale, press down through the pubic bone, peel the heart up, hug the elbows together into a baby cobra. Let's see if we can hang out here for a moment and breathe. Maybe take the hands off the mat. See if you can find a steady inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale, coming down. Tucking your toes, pressing yourself up and back to a downward dog. On your inhale, take your right leg up behind you. On the exhale, bring the leg through. Place it in between the feet. In between the hands, rather. Drop your back knee down. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, take your elbows wide. Start to lift the heart up and back. And then inhale, hands come up. Exhale, take the hands down. Lift the back leg, come back to your downward dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it through, place it right by that left thumb. Then drop the back knee down. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, elbows wide, cactus, lift the heart. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, take the hands down. Come back to your downward dog. Find a little stillness in your dog. Take a nice big inhale through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth. Let it all go. On your next inhale, bend your knees, lift your heels, look forward. On the exhale, travel to the top of the mat. Inhaling to a halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale, lift the heart, press and rise, hands up overhead. Exhale through heart center. Mountain pose, ground it down and rise it up. One more of those. Inhale, hands rise, press the hips forward, lift the heart, back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale as the hands come down to the mat, shift the weight back to your plank, hold it in plank for a breath. Then on your exhale, lower the knees, then lower the heart. On your inhale, press down through the pubic bone, peel the heart up, try to hover the hands and just breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Take it down, tuck your toes, come back to a downward dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it through, place it down. Drop the back knee. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, open to cactus. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, take the hands down, come back to a downward dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it through. Drop the back knee. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, open. Inhale, rise. Exhale, take the hands down. Come back to a downward dog. Take a nice big inhale through your nose. And then exhale through the mouth. Let it all go. Bend your knees, lift your heels, look forward. On the exhale, travel to the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the heart on the inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale through heart center. Mountain pose. Brief pause in mountain, grounding down through the feet on our exhales, rising tall through the spine on the inhales, like somebody's pulling you with a string from the crown of your head. All right, gonna add on a bit here. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, hands come down. Come back to your plank. When you're ready, drop the knees or maybe lower yourself all the way down. Then you can inhale to your cobra or maybe up dog if it's in your practice. And then exhale, coming back down, tucking your toes, making your way back to a downward dog. Inhale, right leg up behind you. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it through, place it in between the hands. Now this time we're gonna keep the back leg lifted. Inhale, rise tall, crescent pose. You can keep the back knee bent a bit to tuck that tailbone and lengthen. And then inhale, reach through those fingers. Exhale, open up, lift the heart. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, hands come down. Come back to your downward dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it through. Inhale, rise tall, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, open to your cactus. Inhale, hands reach. Exhale, hands down, send it back to your downward dog. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth, let it all go. On your next inhale, bend your knees, lift your heels, look forward. On the exhale, travel to the top of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, press and rise the heart, hands up over the head. Exhale through heart center. Mountain pose, pausing in mountain, grounding it down, rising it up. All right, gonna add on a bit more this time. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Come back to your plank. Option to go all the way down to the belly or chaturanga. Then you inhale to your up dog or your cobra. Then on your exhale, we all meet in a down dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, bend the knee, bring it through, place it in between the hands. Inhale, rise to crescent. Exhale, open to cactus, lifting the heart. Inhale, hands back up. Exhale, take the hands down to the mat. Now you're gonna start to walk your right foot out to the right side of your mat. The hands come to the inside. And then from here, just rock forward and back. Kind of waking up those hips, trying to sink the hips down as you slightly lean forward with the upper body. And then drop your back knee, untuck those toes. And then you're welcome to stay here, or if you want, you can allow that right knee to start to open up to the side. You're gonna come onto the outer edge of the pinky toe side of your foot. And just making sure that the knee stays tracking with the toes. And exploring into that kind of hip opening, pigeon stretch, kind of, this is called wing dragon. And then bring that foot back down, knee stacks right on top. And then you're gonna start to wiggle that foot down, halfway down your mat. The toes turn out. You're gonna spin onto the heel of the back foot. And then inhale, take the right arm up to the sky into a supported slide plank. So your knees coming directly out from your hip, and then you're creating a nice 90-degree angle with that right leg. You can stay here, or you can start to bring the hand underneath the ribs, and then inhale, open to the sky. Exhale, hand draws under. Inhale, open. Exhale, bring it under. Inhale, open. Then take that hand down, spin onto the ball of the back foot, come back to your downward dog. Take a nice big inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth, let it go. On your next inhale, bend your knees, lift your heels, look forward. On the exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, rise the heart, press yourself up, hands up overhead. Exhale through heart center. And mountain pose. Grounding it down and rising it up. One more time. Inhale, hands rise, slight back bend if it feels good. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, take the hands down, shift it back to your plank. Then move through your vinyasa, so maybe coming all the way to the belly or chaturanga. Then you inhale to your up dog or your cobra. And then you exhale, coming back to your down dog. On your inhale, take your left leg high. On the exhale, bend the knee, bring it through, place it in between the hands. Inhale, rise, tall crescent. Exhale, open wide, lift the heart into your cactus arms. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, take the hands down. Good, pause here. Now, start to walk that left foot out to the side of your mat. Hands come to the inside. And again, just rocking forward and back. Just waking up the hips a little bit. Then you can drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. If the knee needs a little extra padding, you can always flip your mat in half, and that gives it a nice little extra pad. Good. From here, maybe allow that knee to open up to the side, coming onto the pinky toe edge of your foot. Just going to your own degree. If there's any pain in the knee, then just bring it back, yeah? Just exploring that kind of movement, nice and gentle. Think about sending your pubic bone down to the earth. And then slowly bring that knee back on top of the foot. Foot is firmly placed on the mat. Tuck the back toes, lift the back leg, then start to heel toe that left foot down the mat about halfway. The toes turn out. Then you spin onto the back heel, open up the left arm to the sky. Try to keep lifting through the hips, reaching through those left fingers, looking up at the thumb if it feels good. Take an inhale, and then exhale, draw the hand under the ribs. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, draw under. Inhale, reach. One more. Exhale, draw under. Inhale, reach. Then take that left hand down, spin onto the ball of the back foot, step back to your downward dog. Take a nice big inhale through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth. Let it all go. Then take the right leg up behind you into a three-legged dog. Start to bring that right knee underneath the body, but this time set it down right by the right wrist. You're going to take those toes over to the left side of the mat as far as they'll go, and then start to shift the hips back. Take the hands underneath the shoulders, untuck that back toe. We're coming into our pigeon pose. So first we're going to find a little bit of activation in our pigeon. So press down through the top of that back foot, and then keep a brightness in your front toes. So a little bit of flexing in the front toes. Then press down into the ankle and into the shin. You can use your fingers to push and lift, and you're trying to lift your hips and kind of hover here. If you need to keep the fingers down, feel free. You can also bring blocks underneath the hands, or if you feel like you can take the hands behind you, lifting through the heart, flying your pigeon. Thinking about opening up, receiving what the world has to throw at you, and take it in with grace. And then bring those hands back down. Now, start to walk the hands down about halfway, and then we're gonna roll our spine. So we're gonna find some spinal undulations. So leading with the heart, coming down with the heart, and then rounding up, and then coming back down. Don't really worry about what it looks like, only what it feels like. Just finding that nice spinal wave. Good. And then when you're ready, you can come down onto the forearms. If you don't have a block, you can use the poor man's block. So that's one fist stacked on top of the other, resting it there. Or if you do have a block, you can use a block for the forehead. Or if it feels like one hip is rolling off to the side, maybe place a block under there so we even out the hips a little bit. And then from here, start to lift the head back up. Bring your hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck your back toes. Lift that back leg, push and lift through the hips to take that right leg back to a downward dog. Then just pedal out the feet, nice and slow. Then take that left leg up behind you. Bend the knee, bring it through, place it right by that left wrist. And then maybe take those left toes, taking them over to the right side of the mat, as far as they'll go. It doesn't have to be super far. Then just start to shift the hips back. You can kind of use your toes to help get you there. Start to walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Untuck that back toe. Then you're going to press down through the top of that back foot, pressing through the shin of the front foot, keeping those toes nice and bright. And then try to lift up through the hips. Use your fingers, use your blocks if you need to. And then fly the hands back if you feel ready, opening up the heart, finding a slight back bend. And again, just trying to take it all in. Be open, be receptive. Then bringing the hands down, just about halfway, finding our spinal undulations. So again, leading with the heart and then rounding to come up. And again, don't worry about what it looks like, just what it feels like, finding that nice wave-like motion going up and down. Then when you feel ready, you can make your way onto your forearms. Feel free to use a block underneath the head if you have one. And again, if it feels like your hip is rolling off to one side, just place the block underneath that hip for a little extra support. You might notice that one side is a little less open than the other side. That's totally normal. Most of us have one hip that's just a little bit more flexible and open than the other. Once you've settled into your pigeon, see if you can take a few breaths, exploring into the pose a bit. This pose can be extremely difficult to feel settled in the beginning. So if you feel fidgety and like you just can't make it work, know that you are not alone. I definitely felt the same when I first started. But using props, using the breath, and just continuing to gently explore one breath at a time. And on your inhale, lift that head back up. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck those toes. Come back to your downward dog. Pedal out the feet a bit if you need to. And then soften your knees down to the mat. Come sit onto the heels. Shift your weight off to one side, bring the legs around front, and then scooch down the mat, making sure that there's enough space behind you. If you do have a block, make sure that it's somewhere close by that you can access. Roll your spine down. Then bend the knees, bringing the feet as close as you can to your bum, making sure they're about hip width apart. Then your hands are going to come down by your side, palms facing down. When you're ready, start to press down through the feet, lift the hips towards the sky, just high enough so you can grab your block. You can place it either on the low side or the medium side. I would suggest low side in the beginning and maybe medium side if you feel like you have an extra open hip flexor. And we're going to place it right underneath our sacrum. So that's the hard part of the lower back. If it goes up too high, it's not going to feel great on our spine. So just placing it right on that harder bone in the lower back area. Should feel nice, sturdy, and stable. Then once you've felt that space, you can take the hands down by your side, palms facing up. If you don't have a block, you're welcome to just take regular bridge pose without the block. Yeah, so that lace the hands underneath the back, tuck the shoulders if it's accessible, and just breathe there for a few breaths. If you can,
and you're in your rested bridge pose, restorative bridge pose. See if you can breathe into kind of the lower belly and hip flexors, softening there, just opening up. Then if it feels accessible, you can extend one leg, making it nice and long. And then the other leg, if that's accessible, you can always keep one bent if it feels like it's too much. Or if you're on the medium side, you can take the block down to the low side and explore from there. You can even take your hands up over your head. Once you've settled into the pose, see if you can just allow the body to kind of melt over that block, gently opening the front side of the body. Start to bend one knee, then the other. Coming back to that bridge pose, taking your hands back down by your side, palms facing down. And then on your inhale, press down with the feet, lift up with the hips, just high enough so you can take that block from underneath you. Roll the vertebrae down one at a time. And then just take a rest. Feel your spine flat against your mat. And see if you can allow the body to kind of come back to neutral without moving. I know oftentimes our instinct is to kind of do a counter pose or a twist or bring the knees to your chest. Just see if we can allow the body to kind of come back to its natural state without moving. Now go ahead, bring those knees to the chest, little squeeze there. Keep the knees where they are. Open your arms into a T, and then when you're ready, you can let those knees fall over to one side, send the gaze in the opposite direction, if it feels good. Maybe take a hand on top of those knees if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch. And bring the head back to center. Knees come back up. And then when you're ready, take them down to the other side. Again, you can bring a hand on top of the knees, kind of deepening the stretch a bit if it's accessible. Bring the head back to center, knees back up. Maybe one final squeeze, forehead to the knees. And then on your exhale, take your legs long. Arms come down by your side, palms are facing up. Feel free to do any little movements here to make yourself feel more comfortable as we head off into Savasana. And once you feel settled, let the eyes close or let them be soft. And before you drift off into your Savasana, I'll leave you with a quote. And the quote is, "I am open and receptive to the gifts of the universe." I am open and receptive to the gifts of the universe. welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. You can always just pause the video or come back to it. But if you're ready, finish off your practice with writing down 3 things that you are grateful for today. It can be anything. It can be something small like a good cup of coffee, or something larger that might be inspirational to you or affecting your life. Either way, I look forward to seeing you next week for our second part of the journey.